Okay, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready for
行
this. What are we doing? So
行，
today, Cherry wanted to talk about motivation, right?
对，今天想谈一下学习语言的动机。
动机, you say 动机.
动机一般你们也说动力，但是我更喜欢说动机，因为它有目的的意思在里面。
Mm. So
嗯哼，
motivation for language learning, right?
对，学习语言的动机。
This is like one of those big topics,
嗯哼，
and it's pretty hard, I think, to stay motivated learning a language because it takes so long,
对，
right?
就是你是说，作为老师的话，要看出学生的学习动机，其实是需要很长的时间的。
Yep, basically.
嗯哼，
But usually for teachers, they're not usually teaching students for that long, you know? Like
嗯。
maybe the most a language teacher teaches students is only like 1 year seems to be, or half a year, 1 year, maybe 2 years max. That seems to be the length of time, right?
差不多2年、2、3年，也有啊。学校的老师可能会教个5、6年。
And I suppose some kids, like I've taught some kids for a few years. Maybe the longest I've helped someone is, yeah, maybe 3 years, 3 or 4 years max, but it's not ongoing. Maybe I do like 6 months and then we take a break for 6 months and then we do another 6 months, something like that.
嗯哼，断断续续的学，
Mm.
没有一直保持学习吧。
Yeah, yeah.
嗯哼，
But these situations are in schools where, like in university, you don't have much choice, right? You just have to be motivated. But if this was like private learning or private teaching or online learning or self-study, then that's a different situation.
对，如果是私课的话，不是学校的课的话，学生的学习动机非常多样化，你可以遇到因为各种各样的原因来学语言的人。
Probably for all of these situations, doesn't matter if you're in a school and or if you're just having private one-on-one classes or if you are just learning by yourself. This question of motivation, this maybe problem of motivation is there for everyone. Everyone faces this problem, how to stay motivated when you're learning a language or languages. And I think it's probably most difficult if you're studying by yourself or if you live in a country that has like no influence of the language that you're learning, or if you're studying a language that nobody uses anymore, like Latin.
对，你的意思是说，就是没有语言环境的人，对于他们来说，学语言是很难的一件事情。
Yeah, that's just one aspect. Yeah. Everyone's going to be motivated by different things, right? Like
对啊，
what is motivating you, Cherry, to learn Hindi?
对，印地语，我觉得，我会把动机，就是等一下，我先说一下，我会把动机分成2类。第一类是工具性的动机，就是我学这个语言是因为我要去这个国家，我要工作，我要考试。然后第二类是融入性的动机，就我学这个语言是因为我对它的文化很感兴趣，或者是我想找一个那个国家的男朋友。那我学印地语是第二种动机，就是融入性的动机，就是我对它的文化很感兴趣，所以我才学这个语言。我可能不会，我工作不会用这个语言，我考试也不会用，所以我学习印地语完全是因为我感兴趣，我对印度的电影很感兴趣。
So Cherry's saying there's two types of motivation,
嗯
right?
哼，
In
对，
this situation. So she's saying one type is that you're
工具，
motivated because yeah, you're motivated for taking tests, maybe getting a can I say getting a job? Can I say that?
对，可以啊，
Sure. And then the other type of motivation is you're interested in the culture, some kind of personal interest, or
对，
maybe finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend, she said. That was a very simple translation, but something along those lines. And she's learning Hindi
嗯哼，
more for the second reason, right? The second
对
motivation, because she
对。
wants to find an Indian boyfriend, right?
我不想找印度男朋友，我是说我对印度的文化特别感兴趣。你不要乱翻
Okay,
译啊。
no, it's just a joke. So she's actually learning Hindi so because she's interested in the culture. That honestly, learning Hindi, I think, is a really good idea. I would love to start learning because there's so much happening in that country. And in New Zealand, we have a lot of Indian people here,
嗯哼，
and they're pretty friendly
对
generally.
啊，
And we have a lot of second generation and even third generation Indian folk. So they're a pretty big force, and they're working in lots of different industries here. And I think that on YouTube, I think the second largest group of people on YouTube are Indian people.
对。
So we got a lot of Indian people here doing a lot of big things, and India, big country, also doing big things. So Cherry's learning Hindi, and I think she's enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? Are you motivated?
其实我的动力最近不太多，因为工作太多了。但是我还是会，就是可能如果等以后我有时间的话，我还是会继续去学习这个语言。
So it seems like Cherry is losing a little bit of motivation recently.
我觉得这个是正常的，就是因为我的动机是第二种动机，就是我只是对他们的文化感兴趣。那这样的话，我可能压力没有那么大，我可能没有工作的压力，我可能也没有学习的压力，我没有考试的压力，所以我可能就是会学，但是我会断断续续的学，我不会每天去学习。这个是因为我对他的文化感兴趣，没有那么多压力。
So there's nothing really pushing Cherry, she's saying. 没有什么压力, right? There's no
嗯哼，
pressure. There's nothing. She's not taking any tests.
嗯
She
哼，
doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband from India, but she might in the future. You never know. She's learning just because she likes the culture.
嗯，
And yeah, sometimes that's not enough, right? Sometimes
对，
that's not enough of a reason to get someone learning a language.
嗯
Sometimes you
哼。
need more than this.
对你，比如说像我小时候学习英语的动机就很强烈，因为我有考试的那个任务，我必须要考得很好的成绩，所以我会每天去学习英语。嗯哼，就是会有人去给我压力，然后让我保持学习。
I think in the beginning, when I learned Mandarin, I needed tests.
嗯
I needed tests. I needed a Chinese teacher. I needed to pay some money. I needed structured class. I needed all of these things because it was so boring.
对，
Learning the basics of a language, it's so boring. For some people, they might enjoy that, right? But
嗯哼，
I had a very strong interest in Mandarin Chinese, but I know that in the beginning, when you learn a language, it can be really tough and rough. And Chinese is definitely one of those languages because sometimes you just can't see anything. You can't see a little into the future. With some of the other languages, like I can only speak from the experience I have. So when I learn Spanish, every small thing you learn, you feel like is a pretty big step, and you can see further into the future. But
嗯
with
哼，
Chinese, at the beginning, I felt like you can't see anything. You always feel blind. You always
对，
feel blind. And maybe some other people don't agree with this, I don't know. But I needed the structure to help motivate me. I needed the test, even though I did average in the test because they're all writing tests and I hate writing. But you kind of have to do it in order to kind of understand the speaking aspect. So
嗯哼，
that kept me motivated at the beginning, just got me to a good enough level that I could then study by myself. So
嗯
there is a good some things pushing you, having a teacher, having these things imposed on your learning system that do help you. But then later, let's say after the first few weeks or the first few months,
嗯
I
哼，
think that's when a lot of people start to struggle a little bit. A lot of people give up. A lot of people,
懒了是吧？休息一下。嗯哼，就变得越来越懒呐、然后就放弃了。我觉得你给了我一个很好的点，就是说在学习一些小语种。我们说英语不是小语种，除了英语，其他的语言都是小语种。比如说中文、韩语、日语、法语、德语，它们都是小语种。就是除了学习英语，学习其他的小语种，确实是需要一些考试去给我们一些压力。因为我学了英语，我可以很容易的找到会说英语的人练习，我甚至可以找一个中国人跟我做英语的练习。但是小语种没有办法，比如说我在我的城市，我学一个法语， 我是很难找到一个人跟我去练习的。所以这个时候，在我刚刚开始学小语种的时候，考试就是最好的动机。其实是这样的，因为我之前有一个学生，他其实没有那个考试的压力，但是他每个月或者是说他每年他都会报名考那个 HSK。我说你又不去中国的大学，为什么你要考这个考试？他说我交了钱，我才会有动机，我才会有动力一直学习中文。如果我不交钱，我就不想学，所以他一定要去考这个。然后最后他考了好几次以后，终于考到了一个特别高的分数。
So here's another point.
嗯哼，
Cherry's done her research today. Obviously, I haven't done mine. So I just follow her today. She's saying that she knows a student, she knows a guy
嗯哼，
or a girl. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl because she just says ta and that's Chinese. You don't know, and people don't ask, but whatever.
对啊，你看
Um,
多好。
it doesn't matter because I'm not her father and I'm not her boyfriend. So it's like, but it is great, in Chinese that you can say ta and you can be talking to your mother or father and they just have no idea if you're talking about a boy or a girl, right? So it's
对
probably good in
对，
China because parents are pretty strict on about what you do and who you hang out with. If Cherry's hanging out with a boy and she's like a high school student or a university student, parents would be like, "Oh my God, she's gonna see a boy. Like, how old is he? What does he do? What do his parents do? Like, oh my God, are you getting married?" No, they wouldn't ask that.
等等
But
等，
so let me come back. I've gone
嗯
off
哼，
topic.
她是一
Cherry
个女
was
生。
okay. That's a
嗯
girl.
哼，
All right.
哎呀，快
I
点！
can't I can't remember what you're saying now. I've gone way off topic.
我的妈！我说她就是
Oh, I
她
got it.
没
No,
有
I
考。
know. I'm just kidding. I got it.
嗯
Just
哼，
joking. I remembered. So she was talking about money being a good motivator for her female friend for language learning, for learning Chinese. And
嗯哼，
yeah, maybe that's a good, like if you're in China and you're learning Chinese, it should be pretty cheap to learn, right?
对，
In fact, it probably should be free. If you're paying for Chinese lessons in China, then you're either rich and making a lot of money,
嗯哼，
or you're being taken advantage of, maybe.
嗯哼，可以
Or
的。
you just really care about your Chinese learning and you really, or you're just a busy person,
嗯哼，
and that's just that's how you roll, that's how you do things. Or there was another reason here. Ah, yes, just like Cherry says, you need to pay money, exchange something to get something to feel like, to stay motivated. Yeah, to
嗯
keep you
哼，
doing it. Mm. Back
对。
to you, Cherry.
然后我要说什么？等一下，我忘记了。这段 cut，这段一定要
I
cut。
put all the pressure on you.
OK，对，就是这一类的学生怎么说呢？我还是觉得他们的动机是工具性的动机，因为我的这个学生他在中国工作了很多年，他是一个老板，所以他必须要用一个考试给他自己压力。其实另外一种动机就是我说的对那个文化也感兴趣，或者是为了男朋友女朋友学习的那个动机呢，我觉得也挺好的。有的人他可以用这个动机去坚持学习这个语言很长时间。比如说，我就遇
Mm.
到很多学生，他们的对象、他们的男朋友或者他们的女朋友是中国人，他们为了跟女朋友的家人聊天，所以他们学习。我最长的一个学生已经跟我学了2年，他是为了他的女朋友学习，所以我觉得，我以前一直觉得这种动机可能比较弱，比较少，可能学一学我就放弃了。但是我没有想到这样的学生其实挺多的，就是为了跟自己的对象聊天，然后他们开始学习这个语言。
This is
嗯哼，
good. The more Cherry talks, the less subtitles I have to make. This is great. So, Cherry's talking, she's not talking about subtitles. She's talking about another motivation, another thing to help people. Like a good motivator is being in a relationship, being in a romantic, ooh la la, relationship with someone
乌拉拉是
helps
什么？
to ooh la la. That's maybe that's French. I don't know, or is it just something stupid that English people say that they think is French, but it's not actually French? Maybe romantic relationships,
嗯哼，
wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends. It helps, kind of. Yeah,
嗯
Cherry obviously knows some people that are foreigners, expats that were in China that have been learning, and they've been motivated to learn for a long time because of their wife or their girlfriend or boyfriend, and their parents, wanting to communicate with their parents. So yeah, I can see how that would be something very important, because it's unrealistic to expect your Chinese husband or wife's parents to
Mm-hmm.
learn English, right? It would be very tough to try to teach them English. You could try, but not every expat in China speaks English. There's also a lot of French people. There's some German people.
Mm-hmm.
I met some people from Latin America, so
拉
from
丁美洲
Ecuador and from Colombia,
，OK，
and some Spanish people from Spain.
嗯哼，
So, but English, yeah, it's probably better to get learning Chinese and speak to them in their mother tongue, right? And then you can make sure that your husband or wife is not saying anything stupid behind your back, like secret stuff.
嗯哼，
And
对，
and I always think, like, if you are married or have a boyfriend or girlfriend from China,
嗯哼，
another good thing is to motivate you to learn the languages. If you have kids, you can be a part of the Chinese language life that your child has, right?
嗯
If you
哼，
can't speak Chinese, then you can't be a part of that part of your child's life. And that might
嗯
just be maybe your Chinese husband or wife can be the only one that can communicate with your child in Mandarin. And the same with his parents or her parents, the grandparents, using Chinese to communicate with your child. And you can't be a part of all of that. So I would say that's pretty important. If you start having, I think if you have a husband or a wife that's Chinese, you should definitely be learning Chinese Mandarin. But I know a lot of people that don't do it, because often the Chinese people speak English. So you have this Maodun, you have this conflict,
对，
language conflict of interest, language
嗯。
choice problem.
是的，是的，很多就是我听很多学生说，他们的对象不愿意跟他们讲中文的，差不多都是用英文交流，所以就是但是他们的动力还是很强的，就是这一类的学生的动力还是很强的。那你觉得动力不一样，会不会影响他们的学习效果？
I think the more motivated you are, the better you're going to do. Because language learning is not really about talent, right? I think there's little talent involved. I think it's mostly hard work.
嗯，对，
Now, probably talent will help you later.
嗯哼，
Like, let's say if you learn a couple of languages, two languages, after that you're developing a kind of talent,
嗯
I
哼，
think, and you can work smarter.
嗯
You can
哼，
do things quicker. You know how you learn. You know what you can waste time on and not waste time on. So I guess as you go through the process of learning a language or learning languages, you develop a better rhythm. You make better choices, and you know what motivates you better,
嗯。
hopefully. But I guess learning your first language, it can be hard to get motivated, and it can be difficult to motivate yourself just to get to a level where you can feel confident or you can feel successful, you can feel some level of achievement when you're trying to learn the first language. When you start working on the second language or your third language,
嗯哼，
I think that's when you can really feel the change, like feel the empowerment of learning a language. So it's a little bit easier to motivate yourself, I think, when you've gone past all the difficult parts at the beginning and you break into the intermediate levels, and then you can really start to have more fun. Because at the beginning you can't feel like you can really use the language. It doesn't have a practical. It's difficult to implement the language in the beginning because you are just not good enough. You can just say little simple things to get, but for some people those might be small successes, just to buy something at a shop when you live in China, or just to say, ask a Chinese person on the street, how are you? And they reply and you understand, and they feel happy for that one small moment, and you made someone happy. But the beginning levels are just little successes. And then when you get up into the intermediate and the advanced levels, then you're really cooking. You're cooking with fire.
就是你到了高水平，就自己可以做，自己可以学习，自己就像做一道菜一样，自己可以做了。刚刚开始学也没有那么消极吧，没有那么 negative 吧。就是我碰到的学生，就是他们在刚刚开始学的时候，其实是非常的激动的， 非常开心的。我觉得他们没有那么难受，没有觉得那么难。就他们学到一句话就会去找阿姨或者是他们遇到的中国人就开始聊天，就一定要练习新的那句话。所以我觉得其实在最初的学生那里，他们其实更容易获得开心，可以更容易得到开心。但是你学到越来越高级以后，有时候你会觉得很 confused，很不知道我到底应该学习这个还是学习这个。不一样的学生，他们都有不一样的情况。我觉得，如果你想要在学习语言里面找到动力的话，你一定要记录自己学习语言的过程。就比如说，我从刚刚开始学习，我只会说你好、谢谢、再见，然后到中间我可以介绍我自己，然后到后面我可以说今天的天气怎么样，我可以描述我的工作。就是你要记录这个过程，你每次没有动力的时候，你就看一看你记录的这些过程，然后你会重新再有新的动力去学习。至少你不想放弃你已经做好了的这些，已经完成了的这些过程。所以我觉得记录你学习的进步是非常重要的。你可以写下来，你也可以拍视频，你也可以录那个音频，对吧？录音。所以我觉得这些方法都是可以帮助你保持你的动力。
Cherry's come with all the ideas today. There's two things in here. The first thing she's saying is remember the path of the past. Remember where you've come from with your language learning. Remember the things that you've learned in the past and sort of go one step at a time. And then each time she's saying you bring new motivation to learn something new each time. So maybe make a strategy, make a goal, have a purpose for a short period of time. Choose some things that you want to learn about and kind of start again, start fresh each time, right?
对对对，就是你一定要把它记下来，你知道吗？你听懂我的意思吗？就你一定要把它记下来，你你的进步是怎么样的，你一定要把它记下来。
记下来, so you got to remember, record what you've been learning. I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree. Like I like the fluid state. I like the flow state. I like not using the memory. I don't like memorization. I like this idea of sitting down and having a natural conversation and asking a lot of questions and having a lot of words flying around, people giving you a lot of input, and you maybe have something fun to do or touch, and there's things happening around you and you can ask questions. I like this dynamic style of learning. Maybe you're in a classroom with lots of different people. You can chat with these people. Yeah, maybe you have a script, you have a dialogue or whatever. You can work through that informally. You can chat about that. You can play with the words. You have a teacher that's kind of fun, happy, and positive, and feeding you like lots of questions and well, just feeding you language. And for me, that's what I want. And each class, you have the freedom to talk about whatever you want and ask whatever questions you want. And so I don't know about remembering things. Like I have a problem with something like that. But if you have to study formally for tests, you're in university, then you can't avoid these things. You have to memorize things. And I know a lot of people learning Chinese, they write. So maybe I should specify that a lot of what I'm doing is just speaking and listening. It's not really writing. So for the people that are writing, you have a completely different dragon that you have to fight against when you're learning writing, right? So you have to memorize, you have to do the repetition, you have to like pull your hair out and draw these pictures and try to create crazy images in your head. But for me, maybe I'll do that later in the future. I keep telling myself this. I'm hoping one day WeChat will just teach me
哎呀，
how to
你
get
听
money.
错我的意思了。我说的记下来不是 memorize，是 recall your progress。
Let me come back for a second. The second part of what Cherry was saying, I didn't get to the second part. I only gave you the first part. She had two really good ideas. The second part, or the second idea that she had, was that there's a lot of different things you can do. She was talking about making videos, making podcasts, recording yourself, doing maybe voice messages with people, right?
对，是的。
This, I think, yeah, this stuff is useful. Like making it, like if you have teachers, for example, yeah, you can make videos and audios and you can answer questions like that when you have your free time. Or if you're interested in something, I remember Cherry actually told me about some students of hers. They she asked them to make presentations about things that they like, and so they
对
give a PPT presentation in Chinese about something they like, right?
对啊，
And you try to help them with the language. Like that's, I try to tell students that I've had in the past to make a PPT, and they're like, oh, they don't want to do it, you know. But I think I'd rather be a Chinese teacher than an English teacher. The students sound more fun.
对啊，可能学中文的学生，我觉得都挺有意思的。而且我有很多学生，他们把他们学习的过程就是拍下来，或者是记录下来以后，可能1个月、2个月以后，他们会发现他们记下来的东西可能有一本书那么多。那这个时候他会很有那个成就感，所以他会很有成就感。那他每次没有动力的时候，他就看一看他以前做的这些视频、做的这些书、做的这些 PowerPoint，那他又会就是有成就感。我看见真的有学生这样做，他每次觉得啊，我不想学了，我太累了，然后他看看我以前做的这么好，为什么我以后不能做呢？然后他又开始有动力学习。
Maybe I can add something. If you're interested in writing Chinese, you might do something like write a journal, write a
嗯哼，
diary in Chinese, so a daily journal, and then you can ask your Chinese friends to, help to correct something, help to correct you.
嗯哼。
That would be I think, a nice idea.
怎么样让自己有动力？其实我觉得就是看一看你已经学到的东西，你已经得到了多少东西。
Probably, I would say it's good to go to that country, go do some traveling there. If it's a
嗯，
country that you don't live in, that's always nice because then you can get to see the language in motion, the language in use.
现在其实还有一些人，我看见他们在学习中文的时候，他们会自己开一个 channel，他们会在比如说 Twitter 或者是 Facebook 里面，或者是 Instagram 里面写啊，今天我学了这个语法，然后我练习一下。但是如果中国人看到的话，中国人会帮他们看看他们练习的对不对？我觉得也是一个很好的办法，挺有意思的。
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's something special. Honestly, Chinese people are much more willing to help
嗯哼，
expats
嗯，
learn Chinese or to correct them. Chinese people love correcting people, especially me. Drives me crazy. Uh,
对，
if you're writing things on, like, so Cherry's talking about a channel. If you have a channel where you're like a blog, or if you're on Reddit,
嗯哼。
or if you can get onto Weibo, what's another place where you can write stuff?
小红书啊，很多人用小红书，很多外国的学生喜欢用小红书，他们就会在小红书上面记录他们的那个学习中文的过程，就是很有名的网红，他们就是在小红书上练习，然后中国人会帮他们纠正他们的错误。
So, hi everyone. If you made it this far, then you must be pretty motivated. Good job. And if you're motivated, then I'm going to be motivated to keep making videos. So, thanks for all the likes and all the support and all the positive feedback. Appreciate it. So, see you later for now.